totally scuffed, and we're 6 minutes in. It's great. The game crashed.
Objection!
And then TTS crashed, and then the game crashed again. So we're in for a time. I don't know if it's a time I'm looking forward to, but it sure is a time. I was really busy trying to fix Mr. Chinuki for the beginning of the stream, so you'll have to excuse me while I open up some stuff in the background. But hopefully most of the technical issues are sorted out by now. Kami Lilling. So we can probably start. Yes, I would like to continue my game. Ouch. I'm cracking my neck in it. Oh. The sound your neck makes when it cracks is so loud. Because next to your ears. Let's resume proceedings. Witnesses will now retake the stand. Quick recap. I believe we just finished the summation examination. So now the Skulkin brothers are back on the witness stand. I presume you heard at the defense counsel's summation examination. Oh right, the game's gonna give us the synopsis anyways. It did guff. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Core, blimey. This is going to be hard work. Earlier in the trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Linda Banks. Well, it was Bedlam soon as, weren't it? Well, it was Bedlam soon as, weren't it? What does that mean? I really need to work on Z body rigging, so you can see when I lean in when I can't read something. It was Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out, me Lucy lockets. That means pockets. However, that was a lie. You brothers. Core blimey. On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter. We never done nothing of the sort. How'd you figure that out? Uh-oh. They didn't get their story straight. You will now give formal testimony once again. You'll tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question, and this time you will tell the truth. Oh, we also learned that Van Zeeks completely knew that they were lying the whole time, but was just willing to let it go, I guess. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. Oh, that's another glass for the counter, boys. Where is the Van Zeek's counter? We're on glass number 2. Let me move this over here so I can keep track of it. And that gentleman may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. Uh-oh. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, Gov. We'll blab, we'll speak, we'll preach. But not too much. Illegal entry, the whole truth. We did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling through nothing. It was when we heard the gunshot, made us both jump, and all the stuff went flying. Lummy didn't have given me a fright. Oh god. We was thinking the shooter to come out the door and get us next. I'm having trouble reading this. We stuck everything back where we found it and scarpered straight into him in the black. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we? Man, this man's chin is huge. You could land an airplane on it. So you admit to the defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Windibank's countertop on the night in question. Or not ransack, Governor, no. That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we tidied up. By taking things. No, sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess. The way you say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all. We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't you make us sound a bit more cutthroat? You don't want to sound cutthroat here, man. It can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at Windibank's that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye, I'm sure of it. Of course there is, Ryunosuke. I like how Gregson is just there. Patiently, with his chips. And as usual, with every trial, no matter what the consequences, we press every statement. If that's the case, why didn't you testify to the effect in the first place? Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean. We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted something like that, people would think we was up to no good. This is the guy who wanted to sound cutthroat earlier. Well said, Ringo, me old China. What does that mean? We'd only land ourselves in even more trouble. What would... If it's Cockney rhyming slang, what is it? Because it has to be my old friend. Like... Because I know Butcher's Hook means look, Lucy Lockets means pockets. So, what does China... What is China plates? China... plate? Mate? Oh, okay. It's China plate. Plate is mate. So old China means mate. Okay. I figured it out. I figured it out for all of us. We'd only land ourselves in even more trouble. And in fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourselves in even more trouble. Oh, well, that's rotten luck. Says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. More like we tidied the place up. It was when we heard the gunshot. Made us both jump up. Yes, we pressed this. I keep forgetting this isn't new. They're just repeating. So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much, you knocked all those things off the counter. Well, it shocked one of us that much. This bag of nerves needs to learn to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, alright. Blimey, me dead Grammy would have woken up to that bang. Yeah. That's why you wear ear protection around guns. If you, well, like at least at a shooting range and whatnot. They're loud. They're loud as heck. Big Brovere screamed like a bloomin' baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. That got tangled up in some marionette, what knocked over a picture frame, what knocked them scales on the floor. It sounds like a Rube Goldberg contraption. He really mastered working quietly then. What a racket. My granny would have been scared back into her grave at a clatter like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise. And then some. I mean, it was quiet as a mouse. And then all of a sudden, bam. You know what I just realized? I didn't post that I was live on Twitter or anything, so I'm gonna do that. really quick while we watch Gregson aggressively eat chips. I'm really good at social media. I don't know if you know this or not. I'm like the best at it. Oh boy, where is it? Yes, Gregson, you sure are aggressively eating those chips. How do they not run out? We just don't know. Live. This whole court is... Let me find the emoji for link and below. And a little picture. I really need to take some time to draw a picture for Ace Attorney live announcements instead of using the ones I have been. Where are my little pictures? I like to use the accused of murder again picture because I think it's fun. TV/CC. Oops, spells my own name wrong. It's fine. Uh-oh, something went wrong on Twitter. This crumbling website crashed. Who would have thought? Okay, it's still posted though, so that's good. And double checks everything else. There we go. Do I post anywhere else? Maybe. Self-promote. Hee hoo hoo, haha. 9:29. I always have trouble posting in self-promote just because I fear doing it. It's like, yes, I do want to say that I'm live, but also I'm afraid of it. I don't I have trouble being perceived. I think that's probably enough places. Probably. Most likely. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's probably enough places to post to. If I were to assume. Yeah, okay. I think that's enough. I don't want to post anywhere else. I did my best. Just to say I posted it in like 3 places. That's fine. Yeah, that's good. I think we're good. I don't need to post anywhere else. Gregson he's having his snack break. We're done with snack break now. Okay. We move that over here. Alright. Pursue. Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add? Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels. You know, something to add about their testimony. You seemed to react just now at what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something? It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it, only. Well, the fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details. How about you tell us what's on your mind? As you know, we brought these fellas into the yard for questioning last night, and the statement they gave then told a slightly different story to what they're saying now. Oops. You claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot. Might have. It does ring a bell now that you mention it. Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, fellows? If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them. Reading is hard. We'll get it right this time. That's it. It's all coming back to me now. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs. Right you are, Gov. The jiggle physics on his cheeks is so cute. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun." Well, we'll press the new statement. In fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously. We did, Gov. Although, I suppose if you're being honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. Damn. Oh, they acted out. I love their faces so much, kind of thing. A career in acting tragically missed. And where were the voices coming from, could you tell? Of course we could. From the other side of the door, behind the counter, it was. It was. From the storeroom, where the victim was found dead. And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Windibank. On my granny's life, of course it was. On his granny's life, of course it was. Oh my god. So that would mean that you both knew Mr. Windibank and the sound of his voice. So that would mean what? Oh my gosh, any ideas? Yes, counsel, indeed it would. No. We didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to deny when that bloke and all the fancy clobbers giving us the evil eye? If you value your lives, you will ensure your testimony is accurate and true. In my granny's life it is. On his granny's life it must be. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to click that. It's a good job his granny's dead. Oh no. So they're not swearing on anything, I guess. To summarize then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then hear the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor. They make it sound like we're clumsy. Don't forget, we tidied up after like good little boys. Anyway, the way I see it, how'd they have time to tidy up after they hear a gunshot and run away? The bloke what owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl. Oh. Well, we'll press that. You're saying that Mr. Windibank had the gun in his hands. Oh yeah, bet that was a sign, and the two of them waving guns at each other must have been pretty heated. I mean, before he shouted out, we heard the geezer say, "If you don't want to get shot." Didn't really sound like he meant it, mind. More of an empty threat, you could say. Oh, hello, Coley. Thank you for your lurking. Mr. Windabank has known to keep a revolver on his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd readily put a bullet in someone's head if required. That someone being himself, of course. Yeah, he really was keen on putting the gun to his own head. Good grief, extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided. Really need to make a thing happen when people redeem lurk. Maybe one day. Well, certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger that other night. Only the person he was gonna shoot beat him to it, cooked as a goose proper. Bet he wished he'd squeezed the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me that gun." And it was directly after those words that you heard the gunshot? It was more or less at the same time, Guff. Give me that gun. Bam. Yes, a career in acting tragically missed. Oh my god. They're missing... His face is so precious. Like... It's so precious. I love it. Then we heard the sound of someone hitting the deck. Before everything went dead quiet. Right after that, we done slapdash job tidying the place up. Lummy, it didn't have... Lumi, it didn't have give me a fright. We was thinking the shooter had come out the door and get us next. Let's press it as we do with every statement. So you didn't try to open the storeroom door. Not on your life. We went deathly quiet after that. Put the wind right up me. But anyway, the door was locked, weren't it? No way it was gonna open. Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside. A locked room mystery, you might say. It was, Gov, from the inside. Right, so we had no way of knowing what was going on in there, did we? Unless there was some other way to get the view from inside the storeroom. Like through a keyhole or a spy hole, perhaps. I don't think there was. Well, there's a slot, but there's no windows. We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that. We're still cutting our teeth in this game, see, but one day... Oh my god, they're rookie criminals, no wonder they're so bad. We'll really cut the mustard. Okay. Please cut it out. But as we know, behind the door was the victim's lifeless body, and the accused not 2 feet away. Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there, unconscious, with a gun in her hand. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom? That's right, Gov, that's right. Couldn't have even if we wanted to. Oops, I keep clicking that by accident. Does that count as admitting to criminal conspiracy to commit future crimes in the court of law? I would imagine it must, but these guys are already being locked up, so they don't really have much to lose, I think. Also, they're idiots. But I think it probably does, I would assume. We stuck everything back where we found it and scarpered straight into him in the black. Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herlock Shlums. Yeah, we was a bit hasty there. We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like the leaf when you lot turned up. If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand. You're one to speak, Iris. You're pointing guns at everyone. Good advice, miss, good advice. Truth be told, my mind went totally blank. Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Iris. Mental note made, miss. After that, we legged it down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy to the coppers or somewhat, so they clapped the darbies on us like Lincoln. And after you'd been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct? Well, yeah. But listen, that proves it, doesn't it? We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had the chance, did we? I suppose they didn't. And why should we believe that? Because it's true. This place was totally empty when we went in. Oops. I need to take that command off, I just realized. Whoopsie daisy. At that time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had the gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these two witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbroker, Mr. Windibank. Correct? You've got it, mister. I love their little faces. They're so good. You've got it, mister. Down to a T. So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Windibank. Is that really true, I wonder? That's it. That's the full extent of their testimony. What is it, Reno? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired. Ah, yes, the return of the cocaine tea. Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh, but I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something important. It is nothing more than a feeling, though. I've no proof to support it. Well, feelings can be very logical at times. Sorry? People's expressions, the movement of their eyes, the words they choose. You can take all that in with your brain. You can take all that in and your brain will quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling like you described. Ah, yes, follow your gut. You've concluded that there's something suspicious about this testimony without knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think she's 10 years old. Sometimes I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5. I keep forgetting Iris is 10 years old. Alright. Let's look. Not that. What do we have? We have so much stuff, actually. That wouldn't do nothing. Just before the gunshot, yes. Yelling at the girl. Okay. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker. We never even had the chance. I feel like this is what has to be disputed, but I don't know how to dispute it. Here's the revolver. Ammunition still loaded in 5 of this revolver's 6 cylinders. Yes, which tells us that only a single shot has been fired from it. Exactly. The bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it? Yes, it happened almost as soon as we walked in through Windibank's door. Oh, did they swap the guns? Potentially? Not really anything else to look at here. is there? That's Windabank's gun. Can't find anything out of place? Okay. This is Mr. Windabank's gun. The cylinder is completely empty. Mr. Windabank always used to keep the gun on hand on a shop counter. It always had one bolt loaded. Yes. To keep all the pawned articles that were in his care safe, but his one bullet was fired that night and the poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop, trying to keep the articles safe? Not really anything else to like really check. There's nothing they couldn't get through there. We never had the chance. No, there's signs of trauma. These are the stereoscope pictures. They had so much time to put the stuff back in order. I find it difficult to believe. I don't know. I'm trying to use my brain. The local in the place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl. Oh wait, here's the problem. He said the guy was holding the gun, but in the picture it's Gina holding the gun. You're saying that the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windabank, was wielding a gun, is that correct? That's it. We've got the picture. Yes, Nash, yes, no question. Yet the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windabank was not in possession of a firearm of any description. You surprised me. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more? Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish that the photographic print presented was taken a suitably short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel. Yeah, that's right. Too right, Nash, too right. The old geezer couldn't have been about to turn the tables on the girl, eh? Hardly likely. I don't think Mr. Windabank has it in him. No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence. Continue with the cross-examination, counsel, and heed my earlier warning witnesses. On his granny's life, a skulkin's never skulkin. I think a skulkin wants to always skulkin. Oh, so I guess that didn't count for anything? Even though it was right? Huh. I don't get it. Because I guess that didn't do anything. I was thinking that she would come out the door and get us next. Huh. Sorry, I'm trying to use my brain. My brain's not cooperating with me. Because I showed the picture, I didn't lose a star. So it was right, but nothing happened. So I didn't get anything for doing it. So I'm confused. Because I don't know what else to dispute in this. Couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, we never had the chance. Yes. He was holding the gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl. Because they... So... Like, I already showed the photograph of her holding... Well, I guess we could show how he got shot once. What about that? Will you take that? So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windibank, was wielding a gun, is that correct? We got the picture. Yep, photograph. Oh, okay, so it's... Was that the answer? It wasn't the picture of Genus, the picture of him being shot? Okay. There can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windibank's gun was found at the scene. Yes. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hands. That's true. Yeah, the mole tooler used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun. Bam. Say exactly where you are, right there. If the crime had taken place as you colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out. Oh. Intrigue. Ah, my learned friend. My learned friend. We're at 7 of those. But let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where's the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? Well, I assume it must be the autopsy report. Hold on. According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of "Give me the gun" followed by a gunshot. Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe. Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that in the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind. So as I stated before, there's an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. I wonder why it says Mr. and Mr. and not just... I guess you can't really say Mr.'s Skulkins. But it was the God's honest truth. It is, Nash, it is. When he was shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand. We saw it with our own bleeding eyes. Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windibank holding a gun? Something like that might have slipped out. Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question, they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person. Oh my god, I love their little shorts. Explain yourselves at once. It weren't supposed to, It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witnesses would be the death of you. How threatening, how extremely threatening. Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies? That's a wild sentence. Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, we see cut it out, Nash. If we blab now, you know what it'll do to us. Who will do to you. He's gonna use his chuny powers to Grim Reaper him. Yes, he will. Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available to you. Bruv, come on, the game's up. But he'll have our guts for garters. Whose guts? For whose garters? Did McGilded fake his own death? Is that possible? Did he? Maybe? In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet. No matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out. On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which the meeting took place. Do we have to? On pain of death. Oh. I suggest that you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. Ah, a new testimony to press every single statement of. So we just got inside the gaff, heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we had it. For an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged it through the door into the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's what happened, I swear. Okay. So you're telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop. Well, yeah, sorry. Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably. But beyond this, Governor, this time, Nash, this time, we ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well, counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination. This is it, the moment I've been waiting for, sure, Ryunosuke. Yes, the moment we've been waiting for, where we press every statement because we're not punished for it. Press. When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windibank. Who else? Sorry, I mean, that's right. We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. We never thought no one was going to come out of the back room like that. Back room being the pawnbroker's storeroom. Yes. That must have been where he popped up from, only place he could have been. So it seemed the victim was already in the storeroom when the brothers entered the premises, which means Ginny must have been there at the point as well. But it doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina had threatened Mr. Windibank into the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived? It really doesn't make sense, does it? Oh, I don't know. Did you see the accused at the time? What, that mole told her? Couldn't tell you. No way, Cobbler. We had that bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it. They look suspicious. Give me that gun. You mentioned that Mr. Windibank shouted those words in your previous testimony too. However, you claim that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door. Oh, did we? But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he? Well, yeah. Was the victim, Mr. Windibank, wielding a gun at the time? Was he ever, blimey? Blimey lummy, a great ugly barrel he had pointed straight at me front piece. My goodness. So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Windibank with the gun at the time, is that right? It is, Gup, spot on. Then all of a sudden he came at us, he did. It was bedlam. I didn't know who was going for who. Alright. You were clearly all going for each other. Like Nash said, we thought we had it. I mean, for an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. Oh, sorry. Yes, I know that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony too. Well, yeah, of course we did. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. I got tangled in some marionette, yes. So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things off the counter. Well, Big Bruv here went flying over the counter like a gunshot, I can tell you. Then the old geezer pinned him. Wow, Mr. Windibank sure did. He did, Nash, he did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a bloomin' pancake in seconds. At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via a secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There was a button under the counter used to activate it, which is presumably pressed by the victim. That's right, when the brothers fled the scene and back onto the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they? They did. Poor Mr. Windibank, he did everything he could to protect his shop. He did. I pulled my gun on him and then legged it through the door into the back room. Oh, he locked himself. Oh, let me see. Went to the storeroom, locked himself in. Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windibank? No, never. I was just, you know. Oh my god. They're missing high fives all over the place. Looking out for me, bro, weren't I? He was being flattened, don't forget. By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes. And then, the man fled into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him, is that it? Well, yeah, that's it. He shoved me away and ran off through the door and shut himself in. There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true. I wonder why Mr. Windibank ran away into the storeroom. Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a gun. Yeah, that's true. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windibank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windibank's hands again? I have no idea. But that is strange, isn't it? This little inconsistency would be significant. Could be significant. I should take a mental note. Look, the point is, me and my bruv here. That's right, Nash, that's right. Me and my bruv here. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's what happened, I swear. Interesting. Well, as we do, we press every statement. Locked from the inside. We know it was. We tried to open it, but it's a decent door, good and strong, couldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there's only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade. It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, counsel? I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could have possibly shot Mr. Winterbank? There could have been. I mean, they could have shot through the little slot. It's really... I doubt they did, but... What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you'd encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely. What is your point, my learned friend? Yet another learned friend for the counter. The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. Winterbank? And it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. I forgot the jury was there. They haven't said anything. You have my attention. In that case, let's return to the plan of the I can't talk. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts, so pray. What other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel? You must now provide answers to the court in respect of two conundrums. Twice as many chances to be right. Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Well, he was obviously shot inside the storeroom, and I mean, they could have shot through the little slot, you know. I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. Largely, hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court, on this plan, the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. You believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person would have fired the gun. I think from just outside the storeroom. Defense believes the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time? Inside the storeroom. I can't wait for this to be wrong. The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Winterbank died instantly from the bullet wound on his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that it was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter from the fatal bullet? Where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired? So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom. According to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony, pulled the gun on him, legged it through into the storeroom. Mr. Windibank ran away through the door. We have to assume the door was open at the time. This works if the door wasn't closed. I think it works if the door was closed because there is a slot that they could have shot through. I think it would be strange if they shot through the slot for seemingly no reason. But it is possible that the door was open and then they just closed it, or maybe Gina closed it. It was precisely at that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom. It is possible that before he could close the door, he was shot through the back, and then Gina is the one who closed and locked the storeroom. Come to think of it, do you remember that what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial? Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height by himself. Oh, so by Ringo. Poor man, shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety. Of course, he would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it still would have entered his body in an upward trajectory. Okay, so the height thing meant nothing. I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten. Another learned friend for the counter. Here we go. That the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. You also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock. Dear you saying that his corpse was dexterous. But what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there was someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Is that so? I'm pretty sure it's Gina. I'm almost 100% sure that Gina is the one who did it. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside? Gina. She was already there. Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room. For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck. I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel? Oh no. Yes, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please. I think they have every place in your courtroom, my guy. But of course, Gina would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? It does? Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Oh yes, obviously. Ryunosuke, you didn't put this together? Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windibank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at the time, but at some point, Mr. Windibank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom. Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv. Oh boy. If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then probably only moments after, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Bang! Bang, bang, bang. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windibank fell to the floor where he was just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in the moment? I see where you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windibank. As soon as the thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it. in order to save her own life. Who's holding it? Oh, Nash. But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on, we'd never shoot no one. I mean, you shot Herlock Shlomes. That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Shlomes. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windibank's murder. Where does that leave us? I like how he's still holding his hands up. That was amazing, Reno. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now. No, for the first time ever. And probably the last. Well, I think you've done it. Why do you have a gun? Surely they'll have to give a verdict of not... Ah, here we go, Van Zeeks. Zykes. Still haven't decided how to say his name. An admirable effort, my learned friend. Oh, we're up to 10. We got 10. 10 learned friends from Mr. Van Zykes. Alright. What this now? He's laughing. You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zykes. I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive. Here we go again. I dare say, such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performance in your provincial eastern nation. I'm gonna make one more category onto the counter, which is general racism, which has been about twice now with your Far Eastern magics, and now this. So we're gonna do that. Maybe general your Eastern ways. I think. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pedophagy here. What? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly, credibly cannot and will not stand. Here we go. Because you see, it contains a fatal flaw. Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing? I say, Lord Van Zykes, might be an idea to explain this bally conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground, huh? The fatal flaw of my learned friend's argument really is very simple to understand. We're at 11. Alright, that's one more glass. We're at 3 glasses. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. I did notice the bullet thing. There's only 1 bullet missing from the revolver. And all the bullets are missing from Mr. Windibank's gun, which usually only has a single bullet loaded. Oh dear. You noticed then? Ryunosuke, you have to have noticed this too. Counsel. Yes, sir. Oh, we're back to buggy eyes. Tell the court how many bullets were found in the scene of the crime. 2 bullets. Correct. The first, which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Shlomes, on his arrival to the scene. Did the bullet go through Shlomes and end up in the calendar? I wonder. The defense presented a picture showing damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings, yes, with the blood portfolio. Okay. So I guess the bullet went right through Shlomes? Odd. Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. Is there going to be a 3rd secret gun somewhere? Skulkin Brothers revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun. Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend. Up, we're at 12. Oh, he loves learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Yes, I did. Oh my goodness, I think you'll find that if the single bullet was fired from the brother's gun hit Mr. Sholmes, it means Wendebank not shot by the same gun. Stop, only 1 bullet, stop. There's gonna be a 3rd secret gun, isn't there? Exactly. Yes, the Nipponese! Okay, There. History. Sorry, I missed what he said. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. East Nipponese street performer. Oh my god. Alright. And there goes the bottle. 1 wine bottle for the counter. Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hollowed nectar near the public gallery. It's just some glass. It's fine. You know, it's not assault if you throw a wine bottle into a public gallery, right? I'm crying. Lord Van Sykes. But this court needs to open its eyes so it can catch all the glass flying up from the bottle shattering. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. He's gonna bring up the McGilded trial, where she lied. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond a doubt in the print which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And we have here in my possession 1 more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present. Ah, right, the music box. Or the music disc that's supposed to go into a box, but we don't know which box. I'll be taking that whatever it is of McGilded's down to the yard, thank you very much. No, don't give it to him, it's mine. Sorry, Gina. I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence. Yes, it does. Yes, that music box disc. Mr. McGilded's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windebank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence. Good gracious. Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets that fact at its peril. I love little mouse friend, little mouse comrade. I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc. And why is it so hard? Why can't I say music box disc? Why is that line of words so hard for me to say? I don't know. It's so hard. I'm just gonna say music disc. As a grim statement to the defendant's character. Oh, Gregson? That was Gregson's voice. Okay, here we go. Lord Van Zeeks. Inspector Gregson. Yes, Inspector. We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service and, I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence. Oh. Why? What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? Is Gregson corrupt? That's the first time he's had anything to say to Van Zykes at all. I am unaware of any such meeting. But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent. Huh. Inspector, I'm the prosecutor and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord. Of course he is. He can be bought with chips and chocolate. That is true. He was bought with 5 pounds by a 10-year-old. A metal disc, Reverse side of the note reads, for McGilded. The prosecution has established the accused's motives, opportunity, and baseness of character. There is nothing more to add. I just wonder if by chance, like, the McGilded orchestrated dying, quote unquote, in the flaming omnibus and like faking his own death, and now there's like this wild like thing that's happening behind the scenes is what I'm wondering about. This cop got me hungry. I want greasy fried food. Go get some food. It's almost dinner time for a lot of people, or it is dinner time. So by all means. Oh, thank you for redeeming a care package. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and I rest my case. I'm gonna get up and do a stretch. Ow. Ouchie. Cracking my collarbone always feels really weird. I don't really recommend it, if you can help it at all. Okay. I had the jury on my side for once, all of 5 minutes. Oh dear. It wasn't even for 5 minutes, Bruno. My lord. I wonder if I might say something at this point. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of a fog up till now, if the truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer is bally obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it. Alright. Here we go again. Very well, the court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll present your learnings as to the defendant's culpability. Yes. Guilty. 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 Yes. Here we go. Summation examination incoming. We have a consensus among the jury. Yes, yes we do. When you have eliminated all the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Yep, isn't that like a famous Sherlock Holmes thing? That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. Oh, it is. How dare he use it against us? Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. That's beyond any doubt. Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Gyarados squad is primed and ready for action. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, You will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty. The jurors' contentions. Once a rogue, always a rogue. Different breeds to us law-abiding citizens. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You wouldn't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was the pickpocket. I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief. The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see I am in for a busy day ahead. I am a ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns. I love little rat friends so much. So cute. It seems there's little remaining room for doubt. It would seem. I have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But then, that fell apart like a house of cards. I saw that I'd jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more. The whole courtroom is turning against me. Oof. Boy. It's not fair. That prosecutor's being mean just because Ginny's done something she shouldn't have done in the past doesn't make her a murderer. Aw, Iris. Oh boy. Which cup is this gonna be? Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. I didn't mean to wave, but whatever. Okay, here we go. Here's to the truth coming out. Eventually. Eventually indeed. That's enough preamble, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. Alright. What are we gonna do? The defense's rebuttal. Once a rogue, always a rogue. Different from only 2 bullets were found at the scene. Right. Don't need a stereoscope. Yeah, I want to press the doctor because I don't know what he's talking about. I think it's the same operation he talked about earlier where he lost his scalpel. Potentially in someone. Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial? The defendant's life is on the line here. Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it has nothing to do with this trial, to be honest. I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think? Huh. I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about this whole time, you were operating on Herlock, obviously. What was the fellow's name? Hairlick? No, Herlock? No. Hairlock? Herlock Schlums. Yes, good lord. It was that Hairlock fellow. What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Schlums? That's right, using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you. This is crazy. Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he'd been shot by some criminal or another, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and I couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up. Well, we know where the bullet went. It's in the calendar. I hate to state the obvious, but yes? Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting. The counsel for the defense is correct. As clearly shown in this photograph, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Schlums hit him in the stomach region, and it exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar was hung up by the door. I think you'll find it really quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally. Who do you think I am, son? Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do. As soon as I saw the wound in the man's stomach, I flipped him over. Oh, but there was an exit wound, was there? Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back? Of course I did. And there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all. Was Herlock faking being shot? What? That's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. But I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery? It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together. Oh my god, the mystery of where the bullet ended up is infuriating. Where's an expert when you need one? Huh. Oh. He's a ballistics expert. So I think these two can fight. The idea of a ballistics expert. Pitting. I like how the mouse reads it too. It's so cute. On the night in question, Mr. Shlums was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there is no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Shlum's body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged into the wall of the shop where Mr. Shlums was shot. Juror number 6. Hello, my name is Villain. His name is Villain! Pleased to meet you, okay. This apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you unable to explain the mystery? I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. It was night, there was blizzard. I was running away along a mountain road in freezing cold. Golly. The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles and they were on dog sleds. Mental note, don't ask too many questions, yeah. I was shot from behind and I fell down in the snow. And this situation was very similar to what I heard today from the doctor. They could not find the bullet in my body, and no sign of, how do you say, exit wound. Then where did the bullet go? Bullet never hit me. Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down? Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side. What? One small piece, very sharp, broke away from lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wound that looks just like a bullet wound. Good gracious. Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me. And that is the solution of mystery of disappearing bullet. This sounds like an old riddle. Like an old riddle that you heard way back when that was like a man was stabbed but blah blah blah. The answer is it's an icicle. I can't remember the full extent of it. But that doesn't answer the question at all. The shooting happened in a pawnbroker shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country. He has a point. Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario. Who knows? Where exactly was Hurley shot again? Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt. Oh. A pouch. Actually, I might have noticed something like that. Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals he uses in his investigation. Are you telling me that Herlock Sholmes poisoned himself? What? Doctor, where's the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing? Oh, well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital as far as I remember. If I may, Lord Van Zykes. I suppose you may, since you're already here. Well, I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination. It is. It is illegal. You're not supposed to be doing this. I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Why do you have it? As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Slumps injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound. Ah, thank goodness. I thought I was getting I was getting forgetful for a moment. Since then, it has been in my safekeeping along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand the prosecution present the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herlock Schlump's pouch. His pouch! Give it to us! Show us the pouch! Oh, there it is. One of his vials is missing. So this is the pouch formed by Mr. Slumps on the night of question. Look at that. One of the files is broken and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded. Exploded? So that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun struck Mr. Slump's pouch. And it was the glass file exploding that caused the fellow's injury. This bullet did not penetrate victim. It was deflected into a wall of shop. That's how it worked, huh? I swear Van Zykes is wine drunk throughout most of the last half of all these trials. A delightfully complex aroma. Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least. Although it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling of the brothers shooting the detective and the accused... the bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of this case remain unaltered. But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Good job. You didn't, leave a bullet in a man's body. I feel like that's a pretty low bar, I would assume. Glad I could help. Due to its bearing on the court conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence. Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy. Alright, well let's take a look at this. Now the summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion. Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. Yes, I will look at it, game. Do not worry. You don't have to tell me. Let's look at the court record. I didn't mean to hit that button. Court record. Court record. Let me look. Okay. We're going to examine. Can't find anything else. Are you sure? Oh! Ah ha 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 ha! A bullet. It's really scorched badly just here. The strap is broken, look. It must be where the bullet hit. Let's see. There is another bullet! There's a secret third gun somewhere. That or Mr. Windibank's gun had like multiple bullets for some reason on that day. That's the Skulkin brothers' bullet. But it struck a luck that it hit his pouch. What this means is there were 3 bullets fired at Windibanks that night. And we found exactly what the juror was talking about. The 3rd bullet. It's time to press that juror again. The third, yes. The 3rd, oh god, why can't I do it? Okay. The 3rd bullet. Only 2 bullets. There were in fact the 3, wait, how do you present? Oh, I guess, is it just press? Do we just have to press now that we have the 3rd bullet, I guess? It's a number of bullets that has you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that were fired and then examined by the police, yes. When the parlor maid asks me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. That's kind of rude. Just tell the parlor maid. Like, you have the information. Don't make her like go around the tables and count. That's rude. Well, maybe, I don't know. It's something about that makes me annoyed. Although, sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china. Does your employer dine with thieves? So I suppose. If there was another bullet somewhere, of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position. A 3rd bullet somewhere on the scene. Yes, we can prove that we have the 3rd bullet, Ryunosuke. Allow me to show you then. 3rd bullet. It's right here. Wait, don't look at it. Present it. There we go. Here it is. We discovered it just now. The 3rd bullet. On the night in question, Mr. Windebake's pawnbroker, another bullet was fired. What is it now, Van Zykes? What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Okie dokie. We're at 8 Nipponese. Where did you find that bullet? I mean, I feel like it counts for both general your Eastern ways and Nipponese, but we're gonna erase general your Eastern ways because there's too many has happened to have like an accurate count, so we're just gonna have this. What? This patch was removed from around Mr. Schlum's waist before he was taken at the hospital, and since then it has been touched by no one. Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulkin brothers that night? Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch. But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Schlum's. It's clearly visible in the photographic print. Yes, it is. Ah. 2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence. Yes, that of Mr. Windebank, and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers. An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. But that must mean... That's right. We now know that on each night in question, 3 bullets were fired. Why did I say each night? The night in question. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. There is a 3rd secret gun. That is until the incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained. We cannot and must not pass judgment. What are these noises, Van Zykes? Order. While the summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter! Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. Oh. Interesting and unprecedented. Precedented. A word. Witnesses. Governor. Were you listening to the proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination? We was. Perhaps we can dispense with this tedious preamble and simply answer this one question. A 3rd bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that? Make of it, Gov? Don't make nothing of it. Nothing if I can help it. Is it one of yours? Gore blimey, Gov. Gore blimey, not a chance. In that case, did you have an accomplice? What? Never. The Skulkin brothers work alone. was just the two of us. That's our trademark. Isn't there a third one? How soon we forget poor Sulky. Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from the firearms we have in evidence. The third bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it? Lummy, that's an head scratcher. Counsel for the defense. Yes. I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The third bullet, and the mysterious missing firearm. Ooh, boy. From whence it came. What? How? Okay. Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear that the third bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. Well, they definitely had a secret accomplice, because they're talking about a third person who is going to be mad at them, so there has to be a third guy. On that night, at Windibake's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with the third man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplice. But the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present, someone carrying a gun. Ah, it's like I said earlier, a third secret gun. Okay, Van Zykes, what do you have to say? An accomplice, you say? Pig swill. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet in all that time, there has been not a murmur of a third man if this apparently wraith-like being exists. I mean, there has been. Okay, that's another glass for the counter, boys. We're on glass number 4. The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this spurious? I don't know that word. Spurious character. The Skulkins are lying, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding? Well, counsel? I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice. I think you can prove it with the blood sample portfolio. Because yes, we're ready to present the answers. Because I think there were 3 blood samples in the portfolio. Because it was green, blue, and purple were the colors that we got. The gun is the one who killed the man. They say that it's true. Well, that is true. But who squeezed the trigger? A gun is just a tool. So my Nipponese friend, where are we at with Nipponese? We're on 9 Nipponese. Despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting. I have to push forward now, there's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me to make a difference. Don't worry, Ryunosuke, I got it. I'm like 100% sure it's the blood portfolio. Cause cause it's green, blue, and purple. Yes. What proof do you have that there is a third intruder? Where is the portfolio? This one. Watch it be wrong! The evidence is right here, in this portfolio. By Jove, that portfolio again, is it? Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. That's fair. You claim one of those blood samples proves the well, which one is it? I think it's the green one. Because we don't know who it belongs to. At least I'm pretty sure it's the green one. What am I looking at? There appears to be some green paint or some such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar. That's a blood stain. A blood stain. Green blood? Curious even for you. Is the court to understand the intruder was some unhuman creature? No, Vanzies, give Ryunosuke a second to explain that a little girl shot a blood gun at blood and made it different colors. Actually, that sounds crazy. Oh no, hello, you're Joe. I'm sorry about the ads. I'll type a hello. By the great detective. New invention, stop. Not yet appeared in stories, stop. Yes, there's the blood gun. Blood gun. You know, a thing that's very normal and is supposed to be here. A blood gun. This fogger sprays a chemical that reacts with different elements in people's blood to change its color. Different elements of people's blood. Yes. Everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements. So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. That brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood. Is this guy gonna be obsessed with both stereoscopes and blood now? Maybe. Talk of blood in courtroom, stop. Very exciting. Not exciting. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windibank. A striking blue. Yes, so you see, the green color of this blood stain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop. Now hold fire there, young man. Could it be some unrelated incident? No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windibank was killed. Oh yes, because he pulls the number at midnight, if I recall correctly. Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day. Then whose blood is it? Well, the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else, the third intruder in fact. Objection! It's blood time! Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. Is the blood gun like the glue brush? The blood gun shoots mist at blood and makes it turn different color depending on what type of blood it is. So maybe not like a glue brush. We're not sure, honestly. It's an invention of a 10-year-old because it's very normal steampunk 10-year-old thing to do is invent a blood gun. You can't delay this any longer. My learned friend, we're up to 13 learned friends. Who is the alleged third intruder? I feel like it has to be this guy. We use glue brush just to draw glue. Well, probably not then. Like it has to be this Eggert boy. He's the only guy out of like everybody else that was involved in this case who hasn't shown up yet. We use glue brush just to draw glue and only glue. I guess in that sense it is much like the glue brush in that it's only meant to color blood. And that's it. I guess you could use it to shoot chemicals, like extremely dangerous chemicals at someone's face for fun. Eggert Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about? He paid a visit to Windibank's pawnbroker on the afternoon before the incident took place. When the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing the article into her possession. That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eggert Benedict, then attempted to make the article from the defendant by force. I think I said that last sentence wrong. But just pretend I said it correctly, because I'm not going back. Yes, we saw this. I believe this filthy pickpocket thief had just redeemed an article from you. Yes. Article in question belongs to me. Yes, this was like a whole thing. Did you know the average deer can jump higher than a house? This is because they're powerful back legs and house. Oh, I assume you mean can't jump. I mean, I believe it. I used to semi-live in a place where there were deer on the roof sometimes, and we'd have to like get out a broom and scream at them. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc. Can you corroborate this account, Inspector? Given my dad choked to the land, I think it's just because it said and houses can jump except can't. But I did get it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Yojo. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Mr. Winnebeck for a print showing the fellow. The pain face. I'm so sorry. Taken from one of the red-handed recorder grubbins. That's him talking to Mr. Winnebeck that morning. And you claim this man is the brother's accomplice. Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Never seen the geezer before in my life. On my life, Gov. On my life, I've never seen him. I must fix. Okay. Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion. I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion. Okay, we're at 8 Nipponese and 14 learned friends. I'm gonna move this counter over here, so it's not in the way of Mr. Chinuki, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can. Then show us the evidence. Agree, we must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is quite the filthy criminal you say he is. I also broke one of my friends today with fart jokes. I'm glad you brought them such joy that they broke. This is the last piece of evidence. I have a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom. Are you ready to present your answer to the court then? Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet. So let's look at this. It's probably this. Oh wait, no. Let's... We never got the blood, so we need Iris to shoot the blood gun at this to see if it's green also. Actually feel I might not have noticed that before. It's my time to shine. I thought I'd be waiting forever. In a flash. Okay, here we go. Didn't change color. Oh, it's green. There we go. I also broke one of my friends. I plan to bring joy. You're farting. Okay. Oh my god. Perhaps one day I'll have a fart reverb redeem, but not anytime soon, probably. Color is green. It's not the first time we've seen it, so now we can present the blood portfolio again and pick green to show that it definitively matches Mr. Egbert. Not Egbert. Oh no, I've added myself as a homestuck. Egbert. Present. Just eat beans. You know what they say. Beans, beans, they're good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you fart. That proof is right here in this portfolio. Good gracious, Council. Does that portfolio contain the answers to every question? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's why it's a portfolio. My Nipponese friend, we're at number 9. For Nipponese, give it up for 9 Nipponese. Enough. The court demands to see further evidence. Don't worry. Just let me show you which sample it is. Yes. This one. Try not to do that one though. That one's nasty. As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully, admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Windibanks, which is when the aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. The man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession. No. That's correct. I myself was present at the time. I was following this. It was following this that a minor incident occurred. Yes. It was the disc and he was grabbing it so it hurt him or scratched him or something. Look at this JoJo. This JoJo ass motherfucker. Wait a minute, the disc is mine. Also, are you good for art next Saturday? Let me see. Next Saturday? Do you mean the 1st or the 8th? What do you think you're doing, you little train? This Saturday. Oh yes, you're in the golf with friends. Right, yes, I remember. I think so. I'm pretty sure. As long as I don't get dragged into if I don't get dragged into Destiny 2 raid, I should be there. I don't know how many times they plan on doing it. So it should be good. Should be good. I know. I really want to be there. My Saturdays are just so bad. But on the 8th, I should be able to promise to be there. Destiny, yes. I play Destiny 2 sometimes. Not well, I should say. Not well at all. You've drawn blood, you filthy animal. Yes. So we know for a fact that's Eggert's blood. I don't know if you're familiar with Destiny 2, but their newest raid came out, like a few weeks ago? I think 2 weeks ago now? Blood time. I love that emote so much. Psyduck with a knife, that's great. Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions all over the surface. Yes. It pierced his finger. He made a hurdy. We have more blood, and now we can confirm that the same blood is on the calendar. We're getting ready to go to the D&D movie soon. Oh, have fun. I actually want to see the new D&D movie, Honor Among Thieves. I'm tentatively hopeful for it, cause it looks like a lot of fun. I'm still a little mad at Wizards, but I do want to see the movie. Goodbye, Coley. Have a good time at the movie. I won't be jealous. I will be happy for you. Have a nice time. Goodbye. My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom. Also, they were cowards for not making the tiefling blue. I didn't even know there was a tiefling in the movie. So, using my trusty fogger gun. Oh, it has a name now. Yes, and we add the results to this portfolio. I mean, they should have made the tiefling a different color, because I didn't even know there was a tiefling. I thought it was just, I don't know, I just thought they were all human. I say, it's green. Exactly the same color as the blood on the calendar. Yep. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Egbert Benedict, who was in Windibanks earlier in the day, is the accomplice who is present at the scene of the crime that same night. Everyone knows tiefling should be purple. Oh my goodness. I think that's like the iconic color for tiefling in like Pathfinder. My lord, it is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Egbert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify. I actually play Indigo Tiefling right now in my D&D campaign. So it's almost purple, almost blue. It's like a happy medium between the two. Do you like how it rhymed? Are you proud of me? Yes, we gotta go grab Mr. Egbert Benedict. We gotta go yoink him off the streets and find him. He should be bleeding. Because he was shot. That means she's in the hospital, probably. It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore the gentleman's apparent presence. Objection! This has gone on long enough now, this flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Also, I'll be here, but I'm going to be lurking quite a bit because of my job. That's okay. Thank you for lurking. Thank you for being around and chatting a little bit while you could, Joe. I really appreciate it. I tried to smash Yoi into Joe. I don't know what it was. My brain is having trouble today. Herlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes, a god of detection or some such. For the vulgar classes, oh my god. Okay, sure. I can't believe Van Zykes is also like, these pores and their stories. Crying. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court of the land. Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here is to successfully proving that no other blood in the world could turn the same color. Damn. I mean, he's not wrong. Oh, well. And we got a leg slam! That's one leg slam. Give it up for the leg slam. We finally got him. And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Slum's word for it. Oh my goodness. Oh, Ryunosuke. Don't give up, Ryunosuke. It's fine. You're the protagonist. I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Slum's invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have? I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. Father Christmas! Oh, the judge! Oh my god, okay. About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it? Good grief, what did you just say? That you're Santa Claus, and in summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors. Yes, it is. So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least. Not for now. She's right. Young lady, you have quite the devious mind. It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Bruno. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something? Unbelievable. Mr. Shlom's partner is a force to be reckoned with. Iris Wilson, sharpshooter. After that shrewd precis of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion. This is absurd. No, this is Ace Attorney. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for the final learnings in this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to a fair and just... I missed the last word. I missed the last word. So then state your final decisions in turn, please. Oh. Oh. Well, hey, yo. That's a majority. Two called guilty and 4 not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination. Objection. My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision. On what grounds? If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they too are ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt. Oh, they are too ignorant. I'm sorry, Lord Van Sykes, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. The trial will continue. Ayo. He has a heart attack every time this happens. Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible. The name the gentleman gave for himself, Edgar Benedict, is quite clearly false, yes. I don't believe it, that wasn't his real name! Just when I managed to prove the man was there that night. Did I say something? Who was that? Who spoke? Oh, juror number 5, who called guilty. If possible, Inspector. I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again, the one in which the gentleman is shown. Here you go, I guess, of Mr. Benedict. You know him? Why does a juror know him? Yes, there's no doubt in my mind. Juror number 5, you don't mean to say. You know this man? Yes, I know him. Good gracious. So much order is happening in the court. How on earth? I am a communications officer. As we can clearly see, the gentleman in the photograph is a communications officer. Oh! That's a wild twist. He works in my office. Oh, okay. A very talented operator, in fact. He should be in a communication station now, tapping away at the telegraph. This doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right. I suppose we all imagined the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night. Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong. If the gentleman is at London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Sykes, if you please. Yes, my lord? Make the necessary arrangements with all haste. As your lordship bids. Okay. Subpoena. The court will recess for 1 hour. When a new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. I should like to hear from you specifically about the events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Okay, so Gregson's coming to the antechamber. Oh, I guess this means that this is probably the end of the trial, or at least this part of the trial. Ah, yes it is. To be continued. Yes, save the current progress. Okay. Let me see. So... as is tradition. That is the end of this part of the trial for Ace Attorney. I do have stuff I want to work on, probably on stream, but I'm going to BRB for a little bit, and then I'll come back and I will be working on something extremely unhinged that I'm going to be using on Friday. Time for Elden Ring. Oh boy. I can't do Elden Ring. It's too hard. I cannot do it. But let me check. Okay. Do I want to play? Maybe. Yeah, I think I would like to play with you at some point. Cause I'm terrible at it. I went through the first dungeon and I was like, you know, not for me. We'll set up a time. But I'm going to BRB for just a little bit. When I come back, I will be working on some art stuff and some live 2D rigging because I've lost my mind. I've lost my mind, and you guys can just sort of watch me do that, I guess. Because I post a little bit on Twitter about it, and it's not really a secret. But it's something for the Hamtaro stream that's happening on Friday. So, but with that, thanks for coming. Thanks for being around for Ace Attorney. I'm not going to be gone for very long before I swap to art. So I'm just going to do the BRB screen. I hope that's okay. I have... yeah. I was going to say I have like words on stream BRB, but I think just regular BRB is going to be okay. You guys don't want to play a little game. Okay. I'll be back. I'll see you guys soon.